Please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, will you please do the honors?
Councilmember Marv Bean.
Here.
Councilmember Dave Gaddis.
Here.
Councilmember Jody Shirley.
Here.
Councilmember Rita Swope.
Here.
Mayor Joseph Manzo.
Here.
City Manager Lynn Reeves.
Here.
And Councilmember Robin Aki and Vice Mayor Glenn Gunn were unable to attend.
Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. This is part two. We just had the budget workshop. So now we have consideration of setting the tentative millage rate for FY 2019 through 2020. And let me just, there should be a line underneath here explaining this, so I'll explain it. This is what's known as the tentative millage rate. By August 5th, I believe, the requirement is for the tax assessor under state law that we provide a tentative millage rate. That's what's going to be on your trim notice, and it says if the council doesn't take any more actions, here's what your taxes are going to be. So we've thrown around some numbers over here. We have different numbers that millage rates that we've considered. It can go up, it can go down. We can set any number that we want. This is a tentative rate. This is not the taxes for next year. This simply is the cap. We cannot go higher for all practical purposes. Although it's possible, I read the rule, let's figure it's almost impossible to do. So the tax rate will not be higher than this. It can very well be lower than this. And with that, my feeling is we should open this to consider a motion to consider setting a tentative millage rate just like it's here and have discussion on this board, this council, to come up with what that number should be, as opposed to throwing out a number and then that number doesn't work and then we go back and forth. So I think just open it up to setting the tentative millage rate, but I'll need a motion from somebody. So Jody, you're making the motion to set the tentative millage rate?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so now discussion is open. Jody, you motioned it, so.
Yes. Well, and thank you for all your reports and everything, but again, if the tentative rate is what's being mailed on the trim notices, I'm not in favor of the tentative rate. I want the rollback number, and I would like that to be what the residents see on the trim notices. So I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. So that's my opinion.
And Lynn, I'm fumbling for the papers now. The tentative, right, so
I'll just give this so it makes it. The staff is recommending that the tentative millage rate be set at the current millage rate of 2.0394. This doesn't mean that it's the permanent millage rate. It means it's the tentative millage rate, and that's what we need to.
We still vote to go to, we can still vote to go to the rollback.
Right.
If I understand this correctly. But what gets mailed to all the residents is the tentative rate that we approve tonight.
And they're going to see that
What
text.
gets hit on, what hits the trim notice is the tentative rate.
Yeah, and that's, the trim notice is not your tax bill.
I know.
I'll make that perfectly clear. It's
But if
just,
someone's gonna go appeal their taxes, they're gonna appeal it based on that trim notice they get, and they have till the end of September to do so.
You're right.
so our current budget is set at, the budget numbers that are in the budget
Right.
are set at 2.0394. And that's what the staff is recommending.
And the rollback rate, to your point, Jody, is 1.9548. That would keep us revenue neutral. That would be the same amount of money collected this year as money collected next year as we spent this year. So in other words, taxes will not go up. We will not use the rise in the market rates of houses to do the dirty work. The millage will come down. And Mike Twitty, the tax assessor, when he gave me this rate I was the first person I think in the city to know it because we were at a Big C meeting, and he passed these out and he said, go ahead, make my day, lower that rate. Well, I back you, Councilwoman Shirley. I want that rate lowered. We need to go down $45,897. I gave you the way to do it. Pam Nightingale has left. You take that position. you use it as a part-time position, or you cut someplace else. I want to make a point to our residents because yes, as to Mr. Hansig's point, okay, these other fees, you call them what you want, it's still a tax increase. Anytime I'm paying out money, it's a tax increase, and I don't care whether I pay it out, you know, where I used to live, your garbage and sewer was all in your tax bill. Over here, we billed it out separately. It's still money out of my pocket every month. So I look at my total outlay, and I think we are going up $100, and again, it's not going to us, but we're going up $100 a year for the fire people. We're going up, you know, maybe, well, garbage is going up, no fault of ours. I realize police, you know, sorry, Sheriff, but the, you know, 3.5% for Sheriff Galtieri, and he's building a great force there, but we're paying for it. So that wasn't under our control either, but they do a great job, and we don't have a choice in that matter. So we have to, I think, bite the bullet a little bit and show the folks. I want to show them, this is what I ran on, and I slammed Leslie Natero for what she did in the past. So I'm with you, I'm going with the rollback rate, 1.9548 is my recommendation.
I'm going with no change, the 2.0394.
And I'll be honest with you, I would just see a raise 2.1414.
2.14?
5%.
Dave Gaddis?
I vote for B. I think that putting ourselves in a corner like this, whenever it's very clear that we're going backwards, without a clear plan on how we're going to cut costs, is not smart. So I vote for B.
Did you say B?
2.0394.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's on the sheet, A, B, C, D. Yeah.
Well, this is why we have 7 people on council, because we're deadlocked. We've got, if nothing changes, this isn't a vote, I mean, we haven't taken a formal vote, we're in discussion right now. But we've got 2 people for the current, we've got 2 people for the rollback, and we want 1 person for an increase. So we need 4 people, despite the fact that we only have 5 right now on board. I believe that's our city charter, it says I need 4 people to pass a motion. So we need to get 4 people, or we have to table this until we get the rest of this council to break this tie. And you have some time. I'll call a special council meeting every night till I get the people back, but I mean,
I got till Friday.
you have till August 5th, according to what I read.
Tax appraiser, I have to certify it by Friday, August 2nd.
Can I ask where Mr. Gunn and Robinaki are?
Robinaki is out of the country and Mr. Gunn is
We can
available
call him.
by phone. If we need him, he said.
Oh, we need him. I mean, unless somebody's you need 2 people to move, you know, so we only, no, not yet, don't.
I'll go down to the recommended rate, but no lower.
So you would go to 2.0394, maybe. Right.
Maybe.
But it doesn't look like anybody's going up, unless the other folks want to go up. I tell you, I'm not going to go up. I'd never vote for that in the end. I just see it being pointless to throw it out now. Not this year. After we go through it financially.
I'm sorry to say it, there's too much to do. It's not our fault. We have to bite the bullet, and it really isn't that much per household. I just taxed myself $1,000 a year to put the undergrounding in. This is nothing compared to that.
You know, to Mr. Hansig's point, next year you got, I didn't know about the Duke Energy one, that's news to me. But I'll tell you one that is coming that you don't know about, because our buddies at Pinellas Water Company and Utilities Company, they've got a couple in store for us, and they're gonna be big. So that's coming. They got a big rate increase coming out down the road, and we spoke about that. They're willing to come here and explain it to the citizens, but that'll start in October. And so all of this, you know, these costs are going up, and you know, we have this stuff built in. So I know, comparatively speaking, it may not be a lot, but it is a lot. I mean, it's a portion we can control. So
It's pay me now or pay me later.
or manage the place better. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Believe it or not, I think with all the work that this council has done, we've done a pretty good job.
Well, the council, it's not the council.
That's not the problem.
It's not, and nor is it the city manager. I'm not blaming anyone in the city right
It's
now.
what's in front of us, and
The issue I
and
have
to
is
gamble,
that with
to gamble
tax,
and
it's
go
not
down
a
doesn't
use.
make any sense.
The issue I have with property tax is it's based on value, so it's not an equitable share. It's not as though each person pays, like, at least with the sewer fee, every resident's gonna pay the same fee. With tax, there are some houses, and there's several on my street that are new construction, that are gonna have a huge value on them. And they're gonna pay a heck of a lot more in tax than many other people. And I just don't think, I think that, you know, it may be a tax is a tax, but to have them a more equitable view of it. Doesn't mean that house that's being built across the street from me isn't using any more water and sewer than the $500,000 house down the street, you know, that's inland. But he's gonna be taxed 5 times as much.
We can't control that.
No, well,
Sorry
we
to
can
say,
control
but-
the tax, how much the percentage that we're taxing the value of that house. We can't control the value of the house, but
No.
we can, so my point is, there are several condos that, you know, and I get back to the hotels that are hotels. I mean, they look like hotels, they operate like hotels, and we're not seeing any increased tax values with those properties either.
This is all what this council's been trying to do, is find out and even out everything. But when a person spends $2 million to build a house, they're gonna pay a little bit more taxes. It's just,
Absolutely.
it's the price of living here, and it's the price of building that home. Hate to say it. But you have to expect it if you're gonna build.
Their
that
assessed
kind of
value
home.
is gonna be higher than many others, that's for sure. So they're gonna pay more taxes, that's right. But to continue to compound that tax because they have a higher assessed value isn't equitable either. They use the same streets that you and I use.
True.
What
But
we're-
you can't expect someone with a $400,000 house to pay the same amount of taxes as somebody that builds a $2 million house.
I'm not
Just can't
suggesting
do
that.
that. They have to pay the share based on the cost of the home, and that's just part of living here, or living anywhere. You live on 10 acres, you have to pay for it. You have a $5 million house, you're gonna have to pay for it.
I want to try and put this into perspective, and if everyone wouldn't mind, pull up finance's recommendation. It was the first page that Lynn had, is this green page with the yellows on the front. I don't have a tab, I think you said it was tab 3, as I remember in the past, was it tab 3?
Behind taxable.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about here. If we have no change, then the budget as Lynn submitted it, is going to be accepted, and he doesn't have to make any changes to it. If we get the rollback rate, if you take a look at additional revenue versus the .20394 millage, it's minus $45,897. So that's what I was saying, Lynn, you got to go back and cut $45,000 over here. I think I just did it for him. I don't think he has to really sweat a lot to do it. It's not going to sacrifice anything in the city. We're not going to sacrifice capital projects. We're not going to be turning the lights off. We're not going to sell City Hall. We're not going to, there's not going to be sewage running down the street. We're just going to get rid of a person, not get rid of, the person resigned, who, really may not have been totally necessary all the time. So we're going to save that position. And I'm just suggesting this. Lynn's going to figure out where this is. This is my suggestion. He runs the manpower of the city, but that's one possibility. There was $5,000 on the consulting, which may not be necessary. I'm sure if he sharpens his pencil, and I can do it for him if he needs me to, we find that $45,897 without, we're not going to get rid of the police. We're not going to get rid of sanitation. We're going to find the 45.8, and we're going to make the point to the people here that this council is going to run this city as efficiently as possible. I'm not willing to give the extra money because I don't think it's really necessary, and I think using the rollback rate makes a point with the citizens that we are going to take the hard line look at this thing. We're doing something that never has happened before, and it may never happen again. Next year we may have to raise it right back, but this year we have that opportunity to do it, and I think we should take that opportunity.
And I gotta disagree with you. Reason being is we still have that 400,000 out there that we need to put in infrastructure. So you've given them, so you lost 2 people in the city, 100,000. What's 100,000? That 100,000 is take it, roll it, and put it against the infrastructure. Do it this year. Well, yes, your savings, but in reality, it's gonna be coming anyway.
My fear is, I'm sorry.
It's just, makes sense to me.
My fear with that mentality, with that logic, and that's a logic that a lot of people have, a lot of politicians have, we're never going to address this. I want to force this issue. I want to force us to get that finance committee. And if we don't want to approve a finance committee, then we can have these, I like having these budget meetings. It's great watching the sunset over the pond in the back here. We can have these things and do it ourselves, but we need to really dig and do the hard numbers. Should we have this building? Should we relocate to the marina? Should we be in the marina business? Should we put docks at Belle Isle and all these other parks over here and rent them out? Should we maximize our rentals over here? Our rentals go down every year if we're going to do it. Do we need the manpower that we have? Is it best configured? Is it best practices? I've heard this stuff from the prior council, and there were some very bright people who are still here on this council who made these points last year that we should be looking at other cities and best practices and what do they do. And I sense that we've kind of, I'm going to use Glenn's expression because I like it, nibbled around the edges, but we really haven't taken the whole thing. And I don't blame anybody here because of the financial situation that we're in or the lack of the infrastructure. We're the ones addressing this, but this is making the point to the citizens that we are going to address this. And no, don't count on this. We're not going to lower the taxes, I don't think, every single year. But maybe we will. Maybe we find more efficient ways of doing things. And that's all I'm challenging us to do, is find the most efficient way. We could eliminate this 46 this year, and that's why I want to hold our feet to the fire and make us work as efficiently as possible.
Can I
I think-
clarify something you just said, that we're not gonna lower the taxes? And that's a fact, we're not lowering the taxes, we're maintaining them as they were.
You'll pay the
We're
same
not-
city bill as you did last
Yeah,
year.
we're not lowering the taxes, that's kind of a farce, and that's what, it gets pushed through every year that we maintain the millage rate, which we did, but in fact, we raised the taxes. We did lower
I
the taxes.
hammered the last mayor for that logic, and rightfully so. I said, you're not fooling me, because there's 2 components to your tax bill. There's your millage rate, and there's your house assessment. So we've said, watch this hand, it's not moving, it's not moving. Meanwhile, this hand's going up and up and up. Well, your tax bill is going up every year. And I live here, we're all homesteaded here, so we got our rates capped. We talked to people on the street that were getting massively hit, okay? If you're not homesteaded here, these rates are going up by more than a couple of dollars. It's not a few bucks. And, you know, I live in a modest home, but Jody, you have a beautiful home, and it's not a few bucks. It's a lot of money, I'm sure. I never looked at your tax bill, but it's a lot of money, I'm sure. Yeah.
Hey, we're all paying,
A lot.
you know, pretty high taxes out here. That's the point. I look at this in 2 ways. We've saved a lot of money. That's all well and good, but that money is going toward the infrastructure. It's not that nobody has done anything. The end result, you're paying something down the road, you're paying that bill, you're getting that thing knocked down. By not keeping the taxes the same this year, you're not eliminating some of that bill. You're not taking 40,000 off of that. You're just delaying it for another year. That's all you're doing.
But we're delaying it until the point where we can thoroughly analyze every facet of this operation. I mean, we're already tapping the piggy bank and have been doing it for many years, apparently.
And that's, you're just tapping it more and you're extending it out further.
Tapping it for 50, we're not going to tap, because we're going to cut back on this expense. We're not, it's 50,000, but it's just not going to spend that extra money. Instead of rehiring a person that Lynn might be able to work around or use part-timers or temporary help. I'm not saying we're leaving them high and dry. In fact, I think when I looked at that, if I was looking at the right line, because her number wasn't, I don't think broken out, but I think it was non-office or something.
Right, but Mayor,
You have some money there.
you can't do that part-time. That position, you know, we're down to 7 people. Let's get realistic here. If we're gonna cut stuff, if that's what you're expecting me to do, then the things that we're gonna have to cut are the things that were added to the budget. You know, we can't, maybe we can't have festivals, we get rid of that money.
Oh, I knew that would be the first one.
But-
Maybe,
Because that's a luxury.
well, you know what's a luxury? full-time code person, because you look across that water there, okay? And they do it with sheriff for 15 hours a week. They do it for a fraction of what we do. They don't pay the sheriff's retirement, they pay it by the hour, and I challenge you, show me any place in that city that doesn't look as good as our city. They look great. So pick and choose, Lynn, you're the city manager, you can allocate your resources however you want. You want full-time code / administrative / other everything else, you can have that. But then, one second. You can have that, or you can have full-time administrative person who was here 75% of the time. I mean, you know.
Well, but it's gonna go down a little bit because we're not gonna pay what we were paying her. I'm gonna tell you that, that's a reception.
Yeah, I thought you told me that you
Yeah.
would probably do a half-time sort of person.
Receptionist or.
Yeah, not that you wouldn't have a full-time
Right.
person back. That was your suggestion,
Yeah.
wasn't it? I don't think that came.
But after we've looked at this without these people here, you know, I got Patty up running the counter, Laura's running the counter, I'm running the counter, everybody's running the counter, you know, it doesn't really,
Not doable. No, you haven't had anyone there.
yeah.
I think Dave was trying to say something.
Hey, Dave.
Councilmember Gaddis,
Yes.
you were saying,
Oh, no, I was just trying to calm the conversation.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. We haven't pulled out the knives yet, don't worry.
I have a question though, Lynn, just kind of looking back at this current budget year. I'm sure you're gonna have money left over.
Some, yeah.
Do you have any indication of what that's gonna be?
Not
It's
the
kinda early.
total, it's kind of early because, you know, we're gonna have some savings because we aren't paying Pam for a little bit, some insurance savings, things of that nature. And there's some things that we didn't have to expense, but I can't tell you what that number's gonna be at this point, total. Because we got 2 months left of things, but, you know,
But I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of department budget numbers that we didn't spend down completely. There's probably some items that,
oh, I'm not debating that.
yeah, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, I don't know that I ever saw that number last year. I know we threw around a couple of numbers of areas you save money, but I don't know that we ever saw really where it shook out.
I think last year we were able to take and replenish the hurricane fund with the savings.
Right.
So it didn't come out of the reserves, that's what we did. It's like $100,000 or something of that nature.
But it would be I'm curious
Yeah.
to see what that shakes out like.
And then I think also in this budget, as I remember, and I forgot to bring it up when we passed through that area, you had an increase budgeted for attorney, and this attorney has bid the same hourly amount as Mr. Moreno.
You know, I could probably take another
If we're judicious about how we use them.
5,000
Yeah.
out of it.
So there's 5 there, 5 in consulting, there's 10 of our 40. We're 25% of the way there, and we haven't even sharpened our pencil. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I think it's doable, and I'm trying to look here for Pam, for the page that has Pam on, but as I
It's
recall.
not important now.
Okay, non-departmental, do you know the number? It wasn't like 70 some odd thousand, so even if you took 30 some odd thousand from that, which now the 30 plus this 10 is the amount that we need, it still gives you 40,000 to spend part-time, which is a lot of part-time wages to, you know, I don't want you running the counter. I mean, you know, you can get somebody during your peak periods. Also, maybe you limit the counter hours, you know, for people to come through. I mean, that's your purview if you think, you know, you talked about the hours in the facility, and if you need to change it to accommodate your manpower, I'm fine. I mean, you can't demand a parking sticker at 2:15, maybe.
You know, I think with Pam's salary, in the end, we're probably gonna save 10 or so thousand out of that if we did it. Because, you know, the benefits and things of that nature that are there.
What was her
But-
salary budgeted for?
Well, her base, her salary alone was 39,000, and we're not gonna pay that for a receptionist.
We wrote that
It's
on
like
the
a
page.
$12 an hour job.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, no,
that's poverty.
yes.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, so some of that's gonna come.
Yeah, Lynn, is it page non-departmental 519, is that the number?
Yeah, 519.
So it's, 39 is a misnomer, because when you tacked on everything else, 16,000 a year for health insurance, you know.
That depends on the age of the person that gets hired.
Yeah, but if you hire a temporary agency person, you're not paying any of that stuff, just like our sheriff here. Had we had our own employees, we'd be paying pensions and health insurance and everything else. when you bring somebody else in there, that's Sheriff Gualtieri's problem, not ours, you know.
Well,
Yeah, I know it's built in, but
Yeah,
we're not
it's
paying
built
it.
in.
But you know what, 64,000, if you need 34 of that, to 34 with the 10 that we found you, that still gives you 30,000 of flexible money to spend during the year on a receptionist, basically. You know, I mean, that's not a $50 an hour job, so,
No, it's 12 to 14.
yeah. That's a lot of hours.
Depending on the market, and I don't know what it is, you know, really right now.
Right, so, yeah.
But we were paying Pam, I think hers, and it's just escalation is all it is. That's why it went to $40,000 almost.
So do we have, moving forward? I'm not budging, is anyone else?
Take a straw poll here.
Yeah, I know, anyone else?
I'm not moving either, so there's
Neither.
two for those. So, Marv, you've already moved, maybe, you said you'd go
I
to
moved, but I'm not gonna
Marv's
go
not.
to the bottom.
Dave Gaddis.
I stand firm.
So
Well.
where's Mark?
Marv has moved over to the 2.0394, so there's 3 for 2.0394, there's 2 for the rollback. Go call Glenn Dunn.
Well, I mean, that's it.
Can we get Glenn and, you know, let's get Glenn.
No, that's it, they've got the vote.
And then we'll be deadlocked 3-3, I have a feeling. But,
They've got the vote, that's it. I mean, we readdress this at the next meeting.
yeah, I think we have to at this point, you know, we have to get more people here to break this tie, because we can go on all night, but it doesn't seem like anything's gonna change. I can call for citizen comments if you guys wanna try and, you know, sway the council here. Citizens?
Did you call Glenn on your cell?
I can we do
I'm calling
that
citizen, all right.
in the middle of a meeting?
I don't know.
He
Nancy, did you
wasn't
want to
called, wasn't roll called in?
Just a point of order here is that we've got a 3-2 vote, and I think that we have to go with that. I don't think we.
We need 4.
You gotta have
We-
You have to have 4. Yeah.
I don't know if you can do that.
Could you hang on a
That's
second?
my-
Let's go citizen comment first, and then see if we're still deadlocked, because that would close this, and then somebody will have to make a motion to table, but I mean, if we want to see if we can get him, you know, I don't know, you know, knowing Glenn, I have a feeling he'll be in the 1.9548 camp, so. Mr. Hansick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. John Hansick, 22nd Street. Mayor, council members, you got a motion on the floor for 2.0394. Yes, it's going to raise our property taxes. But again, it's not your fault. And I'm assuming that the proposed budget is based on that millage rate. Am I correct? Okay. To your comments, Councilwoman Shirley, the bigger the house, the more taxes. It's just nature of the beast. Okay? I'm sorry. I'd like to live in a humongous mansion too, but I'd get lost in it. I get lost in my little 2,000 square foot house every once in a while.
Should we call point of order, because I don't think we're supposed to address a specific person.
I'm sorry, I'll withdraw the comment. All I'm trying to say is, I think at this point, the best you're gonna do is go with the motion that's on the table for the millage rate. I don't think you get the rollback, and you're obviously not gonna get the increase. You're getting more money. Your budget's based on that. But once more, I'm going to propose, and I know the mayor wanted this, was a budget committee. And I'm prepared to volunteer to work with that committee for some common sense solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to your point, Mr. Hansick, this is not the final tax rate. So, and I mean, it's a point, and I totally agree with what Councilwoman Shirley has said. This is our first chance as a new council here. It's our first real communication with the citizens, and they're going to see this. And so, it's not the final, and we're going to have this discussion before we pass in September the final rate. And I'm going on record now. I've said it before, I'm going to say it now, I'm going to say it again. I'm not voting for 2.0394 in September. I don't care if it's 6-1, I'm still not voting for it. I want the rollback number, I want us to live within our means, and I want to keep things flat. That's what I ran on, and I don't break my promises. So I'm still not going to move, even though that would break this deadlock. Somebody else can come along if they want, and we can do this in another session. We don't have to go through the whole budget again. This is just simply this, but unless somebody, we go through one more poll here and or one more set of discussion, and then Jody gets the last word because she moved this, and then we can. I don't know how we're going to do it because we're going to have to see if we can come up with a rate. We have no consensus on a rate, so somebody's going to have to make a motion at the table.
When the rest of the council is here. And that vote goes across. It could go down.
It could,
It's very possible.
and it could go up. You know what I mean? I mean, because again, we're going to have this discussion.
Well, it's not going to go up any higher than what the budget was suggesting, okay?
Right.
So you're safe. So that's all I'm going to say.
Do you know,
We're not doing anything that's harmful tonight.
do you know when the other council members will be back in town?
I don't know when Councilmember Aki will be back, or Vice
Yeah.
Mayor.
Mayor and council, if you don't mind, just to make sure everybody understands, what you're sitting tonight is tentative, and it's, leaving it, putting it at 2.03 doesn't mean you can't drop it in September. But this is what has to go to the property appraiser, and I have till the 2nd of August, which is Friday, to certify it to them, based on the information they gave me.
Madam Clerk, is Glenn Gunn available?
My understanding is that he said if he was needed, he would be
He's
available.
needed, because if there's one more vote for and he could be that vote for 2.0394, he could deadlock us 3-3. I'm sure he's familiar with this.
I would like to inject something also, please.
Yes.
Okay, great. Basically, just to recap, what the city manager has just stated is that this is not the final tax rate. All this is doing is this is setting our ceiling on what we can base our millage rate on. And basically, if you're asking me to cap it below what it is now, knowing that we're going backwards already, absolutely not. And I think that it would be insane for anyone to say, no, I don't want to be able to analyze this further, and we're going downward rather than keeping it where it is at this moment.
Dave, we're not going down. You're getting the same money you had last year. You're not getting a nickel less, or I mean, it might be a couple rounding dollars, but you're not going down. The rate, with the increase in the house value multiplied by the rollback rate, it gives you the same amount of revenue. We're keeping our expenses the same from year to year. That's all we're just not going up. 2.0394 is a tax increase, however you slice it.
What's factored in is the fact that every other bill that this city receives is going up.
Some bills are going up. And some stuff has been done inefficiently. When we lose a finance person who's been here since 2006, and then we find out that that job could have been done part-time, I sit here and cringe because we wasted 12 and a half years of city money paying her, okay? She was a good worker, and she did a good job, okay? And it wouldn't matter whether it was she or anyone else, but we wasted that money on a full-time person when a part-time person would have sufficed. That's why I'm saying sharpen the pencil, because this city hasn't done that. We just keep spending, and we're spending higher than the rate of inflation every year without fail. It's got to stop, and for me, it stops this year.
And again, we should all sharpen our pencils. I 100% agree. But at the same time, until we have absolutely signed the dotted line that says we've got the answer, why are we basically binding our hands and making it to where we cannot do anything in the event
Well, the only thing I can suggest is that we table this until we can get a quorum and we get enough people in here to vote for it. I don't know what else, it seems like we're at a deadlock unless you can reach Glenn on the phone. I don't know if that's even an allowable way to approach it.
I don't even know if the whole phone thing is allowable according to the
No,
Attorney General.
it is allowable in cases.
Emergency.
Just to let you know, as next Tuesday, I'm going.
Well, you don't
It
have
has to be
next-
done till it has to be done by Friday, so it
No,
doesn't
actually, it
matter.
has to be done by Thursday.
Thursday.
Let me throw out something, and then you can shoot me if you don't like it. I need my calculator about making a phone call. Give me 1 second, folks.
See if you can even reach him, so we can find out.
He's on standby.
Huh?
He's on standby.
Is it allowed? I don't know. Is that, he was not called in on the roll call. I don't know. how
Yeah,
to-
that I don't.
We've had people join us late and voted.
We can close the meeting and reopen it.
You can do that too.
Yeah,
I gotta-
I don't know. I'm just asking.
Let me throw this out, and we are talking pennies here, folks, because, it's 40, remember, it's 45,000, let's round it, it's 46,000 if we use the rollback rate, it's 0 if we stay where we are. My compromise, and I would vote for this temporarily, is to split the baby in half, okay? Basically go with a 1.9971 rate, okay, which is, if I did this correctly, and I just did this on my phone, so, is the rate between the two numbers, okay? So that would basically force a $23,000 cut this year. I'm with John Hansick. I know it's not our fault, and I appreciate your support. I really do. This isn't anybody's fault, and it's not this. And the city manager did a great job on this budget. So, Lynn, we're not attacking you. We're attacking this process. We're attacking people that aren't even here anymore, okay? But I'm proposing go 2.0 or whatever, go 1.99, something like that, split it in half. Now he's got to cut 23,000 out of it, and it doesn't look so bad for us who want to go out to the citizens and say, hey, we're going to lower your tax, we're not going to raise your taxes by as much as we've done in the past. And I'm still not going to support it when we get to the end, but it'll get us at least to what he needs to do and put some kind of a cap on it. I agree with Dave Gaddis, this is just a ceiling, it's not binding us, we could all vote against this and still lower it in September.
I hate to start talking about this, but we're doing everything. The only problem is the citizens aren't here listening. We've done the work.
Right, but they will be here when we post this and we have our public
The
hearings.
problem is they haven't seen all this in action. And I know you wanna put a picture out there that we've done something, but in reality, we still have that massive bill out there, and all the money that we've saved is going to be used to pay that down. We know what we're doing, but the problem is the citizens aren't seeing all this hard work being done. And I know your position, I understand it, I know Jody's. But reality is, the bill is still at the end of the tunnel, so.
But I'm not advocating that we balance the budget on tax increases alone. I'm willing to go through massive drastic action before we go through that. And my point, Marv, is that Mr. Bean, we're in formal session now. John Hansick here you're a great guy here, and you're really understanding, and I appreciate it. I ran on this, and there's going to be people in that audience hammering me, going, how dare you slam the prior thing, and we do the same thing. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to vote for it in September. You voted for it just now, okay? And that's what's going to happen. And, the best I'm going to do is a compromise in the middle of 1.99 and force the issue. I'll move a little and I'll justify it saying I'm still not going to vote for that, but I think we need to make the point. And I know we're working hard. I'm not saying anyone here is not working hard. We're working better than any council's ever worked, probably in the history of this city. But, if not, we're going to have to either get Glenn, which he could possibly bring us to the 2.0394 range, or if he goes as I've not spoken to Glenn, but my guess is Glenn will be at the 1.9548 camp or lower. So, but let's get him. I mean, we can break this tie without anybody moving. But my proposal is there too, so. Do you need a recess, Patty? I mean, we've been going 3 hours. Does anybody want to take a little break?
No, let's see if we can.
Okay, let's keep plugging ahead. Sorry, John.
Hello, Glenn Gunn speaking.
Councilmember Gunn, this is Patty and City Council, and I have you on speakerphone. And Mayor, can you speak into your microphone?
Hello, Vice Mayor Gunn, how are you?
I got you loud and clear, and I'm doing well. I hope everybody's having a good evening.
Well, we're having a great evening. We are hopelessly deadlocked right now on a preliminary tax rate, a trim rate. We have 3 votes at, Mark, yours would be official, right? So we have 3 votes at 2.0394, which is our current millage rate, which comports pretty much with, what the calculations have been done on the budget. And Jody, Shirley, and myself have pretty much held the line on the rollback rate, which would give us the same amount of revenue and force us to the same amount of expenses as we have this year, and that number is 1.9548. So we have 5 people here tonight. We've got 3, Rita Swope, Mark Beam, and Dave Gaddis. Dave's on the other line. So we have 3 people voting for 2.0394. We've got 2 people for 1.9548. You said you were available if it was important. We thought this was important.
Yes, I just want to verify that this is just a tentative rate, right? This isn't the final lock-in.
That's correct. This will be the number that goes on the trim notices. It's tentative. We will set the final rate in September at the final meeting after the 2 public hearings on this.
Okay, and I guess my vote is to maintain the millage rate where it is.
2.0394.
The current millage rate, that's correct.
Patty, will you call a formal vote?
Can I get a motion for that?
I'm sorry?
Can I get a motion for
Okay,
that rate?
well, we have to amend the motion on the floor. So do we have an amendment to, because right now the motion on the floor is consideration of setting the tentative millage rate for FY 2019 to 2020. Does somebody wish to amend that motion for a rate?
I'll amend the motion for
What's the rate?
the 2.0394.
2.0394. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mark Bean seconds. Discussion? Okay, the first vote is for the amendment, to amend it to 2.0394. That doesn't mean you're supporting it, it just means we're bringing that one up for a vote. Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Beam,
Aye.
Councilmember Gaddis,
Aye.
Councilmember Shirley,
Nay.
Councilmember Swope,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gunn,
Aye.
Mayor Manzo.
Nay. It's 42. So now we have an amended motion. The amended motion is to adopt the 2.0394 as the tentative millage rate for FY 2019-2020 and have the city manager present that number to the tax assessor for purposes of trim notices. Now we go to a vote on that.
Councilmember Beam,
Aye.
Councilmember Gaddis,
Aye.
Councilmember Shirley,
Aye.
Councilmember Swope,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gunn,
Aye.
Mayor Manzo.
Nay. It's 5-1, so the motion is approved. The tentative millage rate will be set at 2.0394. City manager, you're authorized to let the tax assessor know that by the August 2nd deadline, and I believe that's everything that we have on this, right? Okay. Thank you, Glenn.
Okay, everyone have a good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, Mr. Gunn, are you on an airplane?
No.
I'm just wondering if that's what it sounds like.
Happy landing.
Okay, everybody have a good evening.
Thank you.
very much for your time.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?